G'day, Dan here again. So I just was thinking about like the music side of things and like the Story Festival and just a few things from the recordings I just posted in regards to one with the music. You know, some of it, when I've listened to it, and this might be a bit personal to me, creating it, knowing what the lyrics are connecting to, and energy and frequency, like just what happens when I'm listening back. I suppose having epiphanies, which is what some of it helps do for me. It helps educate and sort of documents the journey, and at the same time, and there's an emotional difference, when things can be delivered in a way where that storytelling, that music, and unfortunately we, got this situation where the music industry was hijacked however long ago, and frequencies changed, and certain patterns within that has distorted and interfered with, again, people's frequency, and they're similar to what I recorded in the first video today with the interference. So I think the AI generated sort of content, and just so you know, for these lyrics that are so powerful, within the Story Festival, we're sitting on, a lot of code there which is connected to the digital agency to ensure that an artist that's currently sharing their music on Spotify and getting paid, cents in a dollar, can not do that, and balance, I suppose, the connections from their stories that are within that creation and music to their purpose and their passions and projects, things, other things that they may be doing, because to expect to be able to monetize, and especially, I suppose, now with the AI, with so much music already out there, and now there's just a saturation of music coming online because of the AI generated content. I think, I was talking to a friend on this sort of issue, if you want to call it that, where I think we're going to just lean in more on, when a human comes and produces, it's just going to be more respected, more felt. And AI can't replicate. I was talking to Buckshot yesterday, and like he'll say, he's a lyrical genius. Well, I'm saying that. But then also for him to be able to think on the fly and freestyle, that comes from experience, from heart, from thoughts, interconnecting and getting into that flow state. The other thing, all these, like I say, with the lyrics being powerful, we're encouraging, say, covers, or mashups of some of these themes and topics within the Story Festival relates in a positive way to address and at least highlight and help address some of the issues or occurrences that have happened in the world, and the evolution and the story for us, bits of my story, but then bits collectively as well, where and then moving forward, there's definitely going to be a strong filter there on some of the words used, because some of the words we're using and how they've been inverted, and what the actual frequency coming out of our mouths and creation is, it's been the opposite. We're casting the wrong spells. So when you see this, and I'm welcoming and asking for anyone that wants to collaborate for music, just using BandLab at the moment. So I'm using Sunu AI, then I'll grab that, and BandLab's got a splitter, so I'll split that so I can sort of separate the vocals. Some of them you'll see, you'll see when I post it without the vocals. I might have tried singing it and failed, at least in that tone and whatnot. So
reclusive.
Anyway, it's a scenario where this frequency and the issues can be talked about from a good standpoint, just to not dwell on negatives and whatnot, but to bring awareness and for people to connect their stories or circumstances or happenings to that. Now, Sarah, I've spoken to from Melodix, like melody, but Melodix, DICS.com. If you do want to sign up, let us know. We've got an affiliate link. I won't post it, but it is going to be a partner platform. It's already its own platform. They've got all publishing rights for, well-known songs currently, where you can sit there and learn on keys, on pads and synth. Same thing on the keys sort of thing, and drums. I was originally talking to them, and still will do. I've seen it not too long ago, a little crowdfunding for these dudes that were putting lights on the fretboard, so you can teach you how to play like Guitar Rig on the Xbox. If you haven't played that game, it's pretty sick. It's you plug your real guitar in, and when you're playing in that, I used to have a music studio, which is our headquarters before COVID hit, and anyway, so you've got a live audience. You start off having a small, and they boo and will cheer you depending on how you're going. So it's a pretty good, and it's proven actually to be the fastest way for you to be able to learn guitar. Right, so this is where the AI and the setting the foundation of a song for myself, instead of fiddling around with the DAW or any other sort of tool, even band in a box back in the day. Now I can get a fresh idea out, or cover it, see what it sounds like in a certain thing. You can get quite specific. With Sunu, you've got on the free account, go and sign up, it's free, 250 characters for the style prompt, for the way the music is going to be produced. But you get 1,000 characters when you have the paid version, which gives it much more context. And so to be able to train it up, for example, if you're a singer, your vocal tone, what suits your voice most. Or you can upload samples. So some of the ones that I've done, and the rapper ones that I did, were actually from samples where I was playing the guitar and uploaded it to Sunu, blah, blah, blah. So then to be able to, like I say, extract that, to be able to collaborate, this collaboration, so I can, if you're on BandLab, send me your, and you see this, put the your handle on, so I can invite you, and just comment, let me know what music you're producing or would like to produce. And then the other thing, going back to the emotion side of things, with some of the stuff you see me doing is documenting the journey and on certain topics, highlighting, etc. But what was I saying? Oh, so the emotion side of things. What I've done with some of the framework, which is a program, the Exponential Purpose Framework, which is evolved from the old Future You program, and I took Future You out because there's no point us always hanging out waiting for a future. Got to be in the present. But definitely there's an exponential purpose. There's a particular way where people as an individual can generate wealth and become a platform and leave a legacy if that's what they choose to do, and be sort of more sideways movement with the flow of money, and it not being so much about the money. It just exchanges of energy and getting things done. But anyway, what I did for each step or each phase, if you've got a particular favourite genre or artist that you could, in your profile, link that to it's going to be part of your experience, long story short, where you can change your genre and what you want to hear. And when it comes to teaching people things and showing, then what actually occurs is there's a particular process, and I didn't come up with this. This is stuff I learnt from when I did the Knowledge Broker Blueprint, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, where it's like mindset, tactical, implementation, which correlates with story, teach, tool. So the teach with the story, teach, mindset, tactical, teach, implementation, tool. So those line up, right? And a tool might be, in the mindset phase, for example, 7 levels deep. We tell a story of things that have been going on in the world and in communities, etc. Not to dwell on the negatives, but just to highlight a situation where the world's at, give you epiphanies, and realise, your path, the opportunities if you go through it, which happens with the assessment. To what are the opportunities? What is this new opportunity for you? Now, from the mindset and story perspective, which is where the Story Festival comes in, that mindset is, instead of me, recording all these videos because it's going to help the world serve the world, it's more on the mindset thing, being a dynamic experience, because not all is, related, not everything related to me is related to you, or, etc. So, but long story short, that genre, whatever your favourite music, is going to help you to emotionally connect to that story, right? And have your own epiphanies. That's what it's designed to do. And then make you more receptive to the need and the factual information for getting something done, and to go and use that tool or implement whatever that step is in the process to get it done. So, yeah, basically, amongst all this stuff with the technology, just to sort of wrap it up here, is that I've really simplified a lot in terms of what's needed for... it's still got an exponential business model in its nature, but it really comes down to individuals building a support network and a community that they can ask what, if you're in business, and I might say if you're in business still listening to this, that you need an information-based product and a new model, something to build a community around your existing business, because you're a startup. Even if you're an existing business today, you got to adjust your business model completely, and you got to decide and determine whether you're going to release staff. I don't think you should do that in this this phase with AI. The costs on the back end to run certain things. Yeah, there's automations, and I am in amongst it. And I agree there's a certain role for standard operating protocols, or any admin-based things, or certain things like an optometrist diagnosing eye disease, who were disagreeing with each other 60% of the time 7 years ago, and disagreeing with themselves after an hour diagnosing an eye, an hour later 30% of the time. And AI 7 years ago was getting it right 97% of the time to get that eye diagnosed. So, I'm not stupid and naive to the fact that it's got its role to play. And definitely with administration, we're dealing with bureaucracy-based legal or admin for, say, cooperatives or new type of structures where there's lodgements, there's notifications, and, all these sort of things that can occur. It's got its role. But in terms of a collective, and then that story, and then the music, I think, we've got to collectively make these decisions now. And the music's definitely, a way and thing that everyone connects to and is part of our life with frequency and matter and, creation. So, I'm interested to hear your views, alternate to what I'm speaking on, with the, creation of music and its balance. But I really do feel, if you're a muso yourself, for it to be able to be utilised to create real life. Because from Melodix, for example, there'll be many distributed bands, and they can sort of come together to play a genre. You might play two types of genre, have a couple of bands that are in other sides of the world. I used to be quite interested and keen on the streaming, like live, being able to get together with no latency to be able to perform live in a sort of augmented reality and metaverse scenario, but I've gone off that. So everything in balance. Anyway, I'm interested to hear your views. I'm interested to hear from any muso that wants to collaborate. Check out Melodix. Let me know if you need help at all with some of this, and I look forward to showing you all a bit more with what's, these interconnecting parts for that Story Festival and the events. Going back to AI, using the AI tools for events to, you know, produce content for marketing to get people there in person, right? Instead of this being online. This is not just online, it's actually paper and human first in person. Anyway, hopefully you getting some value and probing some thoughts, or you're having some thoughts and reflecting on this, and yeah, look forward to consensus and basically with these physical events occurring where we can bring back and respect culture and respect nature and ourselves. I think music's got a big part. I've always known actually it's going to have a huge part, and I'll do my best to get my singing voice going. It's there, it's getting there, but I'll do some rapping for now. All right, I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Cheers or not. Bye.